Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishriti. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of the Lord Krishna Introduction, from text 17. Text 17. Once when Mother Earth was overburdened by hundreds of thousands of military planets of the various uh, contexts, demon dressed like the kings, she approached Lord Brahma for relief. Text 18. Mother Earth assumed the form of a cow, very much distressed with tears in her eyes. She appeared before Lord Brahma and told him about her misfortune. Text, 9, text 19. Thereafter, having heard of the distress of Mother Earth, Lord Brahma with Mother Earth, Lord Shiva, and all the other demigods approached the shore of the ocean of the milk. After reaching the shore of the ocean of the milk, the demigods worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Master of the whole universe, the Supreme God of all gods, who provides for everyone and diminish everyone's sufferings. With great attentions, they worship Lord Vishnu, who lies on the ocean of the milk, by reciting the Vedic mantras known as the Purusha Sukta. Text 21. While in trance, Lord Brahma heard the word of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. Thus he told the demigods, O demigods, hear from me the order of Kshirodakasai Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it alternatively without delay. Text 22. Lord Brahma informed the demigods, before we submit our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on the earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by his own potency in the form of the time, all of you demigods should appear through the plenary portion as sons and the grandsons in the family of the Yadus. Text 23. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has full potency, will personally appear as a son of Vasudeva. Therefore, all the wives of the demigods should also appear in order to satisfy him. Text 24. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Sankarshana, who is known as Ananta. He is the origin of all incarnation within this material world. Previous to the appear of the Lord Krishna, uh, this original this original Sankarshana will appear as Baladev, just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. Text 25. The potency of the Lord known as Vishnu Maya, who is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will also appear with Lord Krishna. This potency, acting in the different capacities, captivates all the worlds, both material and the spiritual. At the request of her master, she will appear with her different potencies in order to execute the work of the Lord. Text 26. Sukadev Goswami continued, after thus advising the demigods and pacifying the Mother Earth, the very powerful Lord Brahma, who is the master of all other Prajapatis and is therefore known as Prajapati Pati, returned to his own abode, Brahmaloka. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, please go ahead, Sundaracala Prabhuji, when you're ready. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Sundaram Prabhuji, for your opportunity, and also thank you to Mataji for reading today's verses.
Your voice is not
Okay.
so high for me, Prabhu. I don't know about others.
Okay.
Yeah.
I try to speak little louder.
Sure, sure.
Is that fine, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble thanks and sincerest all wish to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. So today we have assembled to discuss the Krishna Katha, which is 10th Canto, exalted topic that we have been awaiting for more than a couple of years. And this topic, before we go in, let's offer a big prayers to our Guru Parampara, who are going to empower us to understand. And happy Gita Jayanti to all of you. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So the 10th canto, the advent of Lord Sri Krishna. This is the introduction section of 10th canto. So we have heard from our past sessions how the different dynasties of moon, the dynasties of sun god, how they have led to the Krishna's appearance. Krishna has appeared in the moon dynasty, Soma dynasty, and that's why it is said by our acharyas to be more important, and that's why it was highlighted also in the beginning in one of the verses in the previous chapters. Because of the prominence of Krishna's appearance, it was highlighted even before Soma's part in one of the verses, Soma's dynasty. So King Parikshit has expressed eagerness in the beginning of this chapter to, he was eager to hear, and he was asking questions about Krishna. When the topic of Krishna was briefly touched upon by Sukadeva Goswami in one of the 9th canto verses, very briefly he touched upon the Krishna's pastime, and within few minutes he finished it. And Parikshit, being very eager to hear about Krishna Katha, he inquired by expressing gratitude first for what he has heard so far up to the 9th canto, and he questions about Krishna and Balarama, and he also expresses his eagerness to hear. And Sukadeva Goswami then appreciates the inquisitiveness and the eagerness of Parikshit's inquiries. And the Devatas, from today onwards, we're going to discuss from verse number 17 to 26. So, from 17th verse onwards, it is a story narration. Once Bhumi was overtaken by the military phalanxes of demonic kings, and she assumed the form of a cow. Tears in her eyes, she approached Lord Brahma and told him about her misfortune. So when the world is overburdened by unnecessary military arrangements, when various demonic kings, executive heads, the burden causes the appearance of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So, or different avatars of Krishna. So Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutthana Madharmasya Tadatmanam Srijamyam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, when there is a predominant rise in the religion, at that time I appear myself, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says, when the residents of this earth become atheistic and godless, they descend to the status of animals. Thus, their only business is to quarrel among themselves. In fact, Prabhupada mentions their only business is to bark among themselves. So this is dharmasya glani. And in Science of Civilization book, Prabhupada also mentions people become so against each other. Nations also become so against each other in this Kali Yuga that they the immigration officers were compared to dogs by Prabhupada, saying, "Why did you enter this country? What is the authorization? Show me your authorization." This is God created world, God created universe. And Prabhupada's point was, people become so possessive that this is my nation, you are not supposed to be in my nation. And for all practical reasons, it's for us difficult to understand. But the point here is, when there is a dharmasya glani, when there is a deviation from the goal of life, the human life which is meant for attaining the highest perfection, which is Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, when people become instead godless, these politicians, kings, rulers of this earth become puffed up with the military power. Their business is only to fight, and and so everybody is investing so much into, Prabhupada says, too much into the military strength, just because they are puffed up and they are busy manufacturing atomic bombs, weapons to prepare the Third World War. Certainly unnecessary, Prabhupada says. This is just reflecting the false pride of false pride of the heads of the state. That is what mentioned in this verse. Bhumin druptan rupa vyaja. And this druptan rupa, these kings who are very puffed up, who are very prideful of their power, military strength, vyaja, they become so-called supreme powers of the specific states of this world. But they don't protect the praja, the people of that nation. They're always engaged in impious acts. And the real business of a chief executive is actually to see to the happiness of mass of people by training them in Krishna consciousness. But now, with so-called political correctness, they prefer not to speak about God. All these rulers, so they're completely they become completely atheistic, and so a leader should train the people, brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, shudras, who are natural classification within any given society, business people, workers, and teaching class. These are all very natural in any society. And this ruler is supposed to engage them in their occupational duties and help them progress towards God consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Instead, rogues and thieves, in the guise of protectors, arrange for a voting system and come to power by hook or crook and exploit the citizen. Even long ago, kings like were devoid of God consciousness and became the heads of state, and that is happening again. And this is the reason why Lord Krishna appeared. And because of the present world situation, Krishna has descended in the form of Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada says. So it is quite natural that the world cannot be peaceful or happy without Krishna consciousness in the world. That's why our Krishna consciousness movement was started by Prabhupada. That's why it descended to the Mother Earth. Because of the Glanir Bhavati. Because of the deviation in the religious principles, religious practices, declining the religious practices. Now, in the 18th verse, Now, Mother Earth assumed the form of cow was described. That's the same thing what someone we will discuss. She told to Lord Brahma about her misfortune. So in 19th verse, Brahma, thereafter having heard of the distress of Mother Earth, Lord Brahma with Mother Earth, Lord Shiva and all other demigods approached the shore of ocean of milk. So Lord Brahma understood the precarious condition of Mother Earth. She was actually lamenting about the Bhubhara, the different impious kings who are maintaining huge militaries for destructive purposes. They were maintaining phalanxes of soldiers just to fight among each other. Many Akshavnis, it is mentioned in Mahabharata also, where more than 600 million soldiers, Prabhupada says, were fought. A world war, that is the actual world war happened at that time. And each Akshavani, if you imagine, so huge actually. There are more than 200,000 people who are representing a particular Akshavani. Some of them are driving the chariots, some of them are driving the elephants, some of them are cavalry, and some of them are infantry. And now together, there are huge such Akshavnis, they call it in English phalanxes of militaries, who were specifically meant to not actually now they gone beyond defending. They have gone, they just are maintaining these military strengths, unnecessarily fighting among each other. Society became so demonic that Krishna had to, Mother Earth was lamenting about it, and she was approaching Lord Brahma and begging for his help. So Lord Brahma, instead of giving a false hope, I can solve this problem, he immediately, sometimes if a devotee comes to us, a new person who is very new, come to us because we know them, and they come up with a problem, and we might sometimes give a uh, wrong direction to them, wrong solution to them. We cannot even provide proper solution to them, but still we pretend to be, let's say if we pretend to be advisory for such person, we are only doing injustice. It's not going to help them. And we are also doing injustice to ourselves by posing ourselves as a, we can give a solution. Let's say we neither have an experience or maturity or to understand the problem and give the solution. We always should refer them back to the senior most devotees who have an experience on how to handle such situation. That is what exactly Brahma did. Brahma, instead of giving them false hope, don't worry, I will take care. So he is I am the boss of them. They are supposed to take only my help. They can't go to someone else. He doesn't have that possessiveness, Lord Brahma. So when we eventually grow up as a leader, should imbibe these qualities of Lord Brahma, that uh, we should engage them. We should, whenever there is a catastrophe in life, we should make them pray to the Lord somehow or the other. Someone who is too much into enjoyment, then they come across a catastrophe in life. At that time, a great leader reminds them of the supreme influence of the Supreme Lord Krishna, how he comes as a time factor, how distresses come in life, which is way beyond a human's capacity to sometimes stand back and fight bravely. So at that time, the only hope that we can have is to actually pray to Krishna and have confidence that he will definitely help us. So that is what this leader has to inspire. Yeah. So this is what we learn from Brahma. And Lord Brahma uh, took Lord Shiva and other devatas, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, and so on, along with Mother Earth, who is in the form of a cow, to invoke the compassion. Mother Earth, all of them, the Brahma took to Kshirosagar, where Lord Vishnu is which is an abode of Lord Vishnu. Now we will hear from 20th verse. After reaching the shore of the ocean of milk, which is also called as Sveta Dvipa, and the demigods worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Master of the whole universe, the Supreme God of all gods, who provides for everyone and diminishes everyone's suffering. Let's recite this verse. Tatra gatva jagannadham devadevam vrushakapim purusham purusha suktena upatasthe samahitah. Now, all these devatas have recited Purusha Sukta prayers, glorifying the Supreme Lord, Purushartha, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Demigods such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord King Indra, Chandra, Surya are all subordinate to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aside for demigods, even in the human society, there are many influential personalities. Right? Lord Vishnu, however, like for example, business people, politicians. Vishnu, however, is the god of the gods, Parameshwara, Paramapurusha, is Paramatma, and as confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara, Paramakrishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. No one is equal to him or greater than him. And therefore, he is described as Jagannatha, Devadeva, Ushakapi, and Purusha. These are the four ways the Lord Krishna was described in this verse. You see, very interestingly, Ushakapin was mentioned. Lord is glorified as he who supports dharma, right? He who supports dharma symbolized by the bull, Purusha, and it's associated with Lord Hanuman, Kapin, the monkey. So that is one way of understanding. Here, Prabhupada has given a meaning, the Supreme Person Vishnu, who provides for everyone and diminishes everyone's suffering. This is a very befitting name, glorification of the Lord for this context, who will definitely diminish the suffering of Devatas and Mother Earth. That is what mentioned here. Purusham Purusha Suktena Upatasthe Samahitaha. With full attention, they have did with reverential feeling. They prayed to Lord Vishnu with reverential feeling. As Arjuna confirmed the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna's position in Bhagavad Gita by singing this verse. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. So, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna says. You are that ultimate abode. You are the purest. You are the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person. Adidevam, Ajam Vibhum. You are unborn. And you are the greatest Vibhum. And Krishna is the Adi Purusha. And to that Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Vishnu is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. And all the Vishnu Tattvas are Parameshwara Deva Deva. Prabhupada says. That means plenary expansions mean exactly, completely the same potency like Krishna. All the plenary expansion Vishnu avatars have the same potency of Krishna. In terms of their influence, power, wealth, everything. They have all exactly equivalent of Krishna. That is the meaning of plenary expansion. And now the Devatas who have approached Lord Vishnu. So now 21st to 23rd verse, Lord Krishna's appearance is touched upon. While in the trance, Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu. Yiram samadho gagane samiritam. Then from the ether, he heard a voice. In fact, it was mentioned he heard a voice from within his heart. Nishamya Vedas Tridashan Uvachaha. After taking a message from Lord Vishnu from within the heart, then he started speaking to Tridashan. Who are the Tridashan? There are actually 30 principal Vedic deities. They are called Tridashas. Some deities are specifically they control the ether. Like for example, Varuna controls the cosmic order and more. Um, yeah, atmosphere is controlled by one god, Antariksha, and there are different demigods like Savitri, Mitra. I was just reading upon this. Varuna. They were all controllers of controlling deities of the some some the ether realm, the sky, and it is called Juloka. There are some deities, Prithvi Loka, who are in the earthly realm, they are controlling deities like Agni, Prithvi, Bhumi, Soma, Yama, Yamadev, like that. Like that, overall, including Prajapatis, there are 30 principal deities. They are called Vidasha. That means 3 means 3, Dasha means 10. There are 30 of them. Nishamya Vedas, Tridasham Muvachaha. He started speaking to all the principal Devatas there. Gam Purushi, Gam Purushi me Shrunuta Amara Punar. That means Lord already spoken. The word Punar indicates that Lord already spoken, but because of these Amaras, the demigods were unable to hear it, Lord Brahma had to repeat for them. And what did he repeat? Vidhiyatam asu tathaiva machiram. And he started giving instruction. He's passing the order of Chirodaka Sai Vishnu, which he has heard from his heart, to the demigods and asking them to execute this order without delay. And Lord Vishnu has given an order. What is the order? We're going to see. It appears that words of Supreme Person of Godhead can be heard in the trance by competent persons from birth place. Only Brahma could hear. Modern scientists give us telescopes, but which one can hear sound vibrations from a distant place? Similarly, other persons cannot hear Vishnu, but Brahma could. Tene Brahma Hridaya. The same process as described in Bhagavatam verse 1.1.1 in the beginning of the creation, how he received knowledge from Lord Vishnu. A similar way, we also receive the message from Lord Vishnu now. The same principle is confirmed here. So Brahma was in trance, he was able to hear. And although Lord Vishnu was invisible even to the Lord Brahma could hear Lord Vishnu's words through the heart. The Godhead is invisible even to Lord Brahma, yet he descends to the earth and becomes visible to the people in general. That shows the causeless mercy of Krishna. And in the 22nd verse, and also it is indicated by our Acharya's commentaries that Lord chose to speak only to the prayers of Lord Brahma, but not to Devatas. The reason being, because Devatas was worshipping in a reverential mode, not in any, and they don't have any deep relationship with Krishna as much as reciprocational relationship. Krishna loves them, but they don't have a relationship in the form of Sakya Bhava or Vatsalya Bhava like that. But he chose to respond to Brahma because of his exaltedness. Because they were worshipping him on an official note, he chose not to respond to them directly, but passing them the information and giving them the solution also. It's not that the prayer is unheard. Vishnu is also acting in an official note because he was prayed in an official note in Purusha Sukta. Yes, but Mudhas will not understand the Lord's causeless mercy, though, and that is they are mentioned as Avajanati Mudha. Therefore, they misinterpret Krishna's teachings, They misinterpret and they say that he's a historical person, he's not a god, like that the people speak, because they are moodas. And 21st to 23rd, now we are continuing to see the Krishna's appearance is being discussed. That means this. So Lord Brahma informed demigods, before we submit our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on the earth. It's not that we are praying that and Krishna is taking action now. He is already aware of your problem. He's already contemplating on how to solve it. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on the earth to diminish the burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through the plenary portions as sons and grandsons and the families of Yadus. So this is the instruction given to them to appear in the Yadu dynasty and be ready to serve the Lord when he appears as Lord Krishna. Right? And philosophers, religionists, and people in general must take to this our Hare Krishna movement. Why this whole situation has become distressful because of the destructive nature of the kings, with the demonic kings who existed at that time. In order to protect the current situation, Lord is appearing in the form of Krishna conscious movement. So now philosophers and religionists and people in general must take to this Krishna conscious movement and take it very seriously. But the man-made plans and devices will not help bring peace on earth, Prabhupada says. There is no difference between sound Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Krishna is the person. Abhinnatvan Nama Namino. And 23rd verse, it says that Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who has full potency, will personally appear as son of Vasudeva. Therefore, all the wives of demigods should be appearing in order to satisfy him. It is mentioned Tat Priyartham Sambhavantu Surastuyam. After giving up the material body, the devotee of the Lord returns back to home Godhead. The devotee is first transferred to Prabhupada says particular universe where the Lord is at that time staying to exhibit his pastimes. The Lord will keep on appearing in one of these multiple universes at every moment. Therefore, his pastimes are called Nitya Leelas. They're always happening somewhere or the other. The appearance of a child in the house of Devaki as a child, Lord as a child in the house of Devaki takes place continuously in one universe of another. That's why it is Nitya Leela. And pure devotee, even if he is unable to execute devotional service completely, is transferred to upper planetary system there. And then from there, once his devotional service is complete, such a devotee is transferred to the place where Lord's pastimes are going on. Prabhupada says, Sambhavantu Surastriyaha. The meaning of that line was very much highlighted here by Prabhupada. Surastri, the women of heavenly planets, were thus ordered to appear in Yadu dynasty in Vrindavan to enrich the pastimes. To enrich the pastimes. That's the purpose, Prabhupada is saying, of Lord Krishna. That's why the wives of demigods, Surastri, when further trained to live with Krishna, would be transferred to original Goloka Vrindavan. With the association of Lord Krishna, either at Dwarakapuri or Mathurapuri or Vrindavana, they would certainly return home, Prabhupada says. So among the Surastri, the women of heavenly planets, this is a very important line what Prabhupada mentions. Who exactly are those Surastris? Women of heavenly planets. There are many devotees such as Mother of Upendra, incarnation of Krishna, like Aditi, right? And actually the Surastriya is meant for them actually. It is addressed, they are addressed as Surastriya because it was such devoted women who were called for this in this connection to appear, to assist in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So Devata's approach now, Baladeva's appearance was discussed in 24th verse. Advarato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikishaya. In order to please Lord Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes, Sankarshana Baladev has directly appeared, who is a portable expansion, who is equally powerful like Supreme Lord. He appeared, and he now appeared as a elder brother in this yuga. He can choose to appear as younger brother sometimes. And Devatas, now 25th verse is mentioned. Maya's appearance was mentioned here. The Vishnu's potency, Vishnu Maya, Bhagavati, who bewilders all the worlds, will also appear to facilitate Lord's pastime. Karyarthe sambhavishyati. And in this verse specifically, it is mentioned exactly as electric potency is one, although it can act both to cool and also heat. Similarly, Maya, Yoga Maya, Maya appears, the Supreme Lord's potencies are called by two different names. Prabhupada says. One is Yogamaya, another one is Mahamaya. But they ultimately, the source being the Supreme Lord, they are potencies of Supreme Lord only. One is internal potency, another one is external potency. And it is the same electricity acting for cooling as well as for heating. Similarly, Lord's potency acts as Mahamaya, which is binding a conditioned soul and liberating a pure soul is the act performed by Yogamaya. And also, Yogamaya has different functions. She enriches the pastimes of Krishna and she facilitates the pastimes of Krishna. She also guides. All the Mahatmas take his shelter, Yogamaya's shelter, which is potency of Radharani, the Bhakti Devi. And it is mentioned, Mahamaya, how does she work? Mahamaya is mentioned how she works to create a moha in a person, Mahamoha in a person. And she bewilders to conditioned souls who want to independently enjoy, who want to become proprietor, who want to compete with the Lord. Prakriti kriyamani gunai karmani sarvashankar vimudatma kartaham. In that, within the conditioned life, no one has a freedom, but because one is bewildered, he foolishly thinks himself independent. Prabhupada says. Thus, the Lord's potency, Vishnu Maya, has two features, Avaranatmika and Unmukha. Like, for example, yesterday, Vrindavan Prabhu was mentioning, Vrindavan Prabhu was mentioning, one person is in dark room, and everybody, and he cannot see anything, and he is getting beaten up left and right. He doesn't know who is beating him. For what reason he is beaten? Nobody knows. Nobody knows why we are facing problems in this life, why we are put in this situation in this life, why we are temporarily enjoying, but later when we think we are enjoying, there will be another distress coming. That is actually called Avaranatmika. And somebody who is beating us is Unmukha Maya. So these are the two features of Mahamaya only. And we need to better equip ourselves by reading Bhagavad Gita every day, one chapter every day. And when we have that, when Prabhuji was mentioning, when we read Bhagavad Gita, what happens is our consciousness will uplift. We will uplift our consciousness with the help of Krishna's blessings when we read Bhagavad Gita. And with that, all the big problems, though they are in Unmukha, in front of us, they appear like big problems, like a big building in front of us. When we see from the sky with a higher consciousness, it appears minuscule, very small. Big problem appears small when we have this higher knowledge given by Krishna. That's why we have to read Bhagavad Gita. So let's distribute Bhagavad Gita also more and more for the current need of the society. If you give Krishna, Prabhu says, if you give Krishna, we will get Krishna. So how do we give Krishna? You can either distribute Bhagavad Gita yourself, or wonderfully you can go and sponsor a box of Bhagavad Gitas. It doesn't matter how many we do, it is still going to be, there is going to be greater need in this society. When we give Krishna in the form of Bhagavad Gitas, we get Krishna, Prabhu says. So in the 17th to 26th was the Devatas who approached Lord Vishnu. Now Lord Vishnu has given an advice, an instruction for Devatas' wives to appear, and through Lord Brahma he conveyed those instruction. And actually, after advising the demigods, pacifying the Mother Earth, the very powerful Lord Brahma, who is the master of all Prajapatis, who is therefore known as Prajapati Pati, returned to his own abode Brahmaloka. This Brahmaloka is mentioned to be actually the one we have in the Mount Sumeru in this earthly realm only. So Sukadeva Goswami from the next verse onwards begins the Krishna's appearing, which is so glorious. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna, to your devotees. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Hare
thank you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.